Hey, welcome back to Techopolis 3, where in the last video, we finished the nuclear reactor progression by processing the waste into polonium and plutonium, and then further into antimatter. Meaning I've almost got everything I need to go forward to ultimate technium. Since last video, I've done a few changes. You might notice these fluix cables stretching around everywhere, because I've connected in quite a lot more of the storages. And I've also added this pretty standard redstone filter onto the cyanite so that it constantly keeps a backlog in there. You can see if it gets more than 292, then it puts it through into the reprocessor. So now, whenever I need it, any of the things that I get out of this, I can use forward in the ultimate technium. And I'm probably going to need a lot. Although not as much as I used to, because since last time, I've updated the pack, and now the fluidiser uses bones instead of cyanite, which makes it immensely cheaper. I do still need to figure out stuff for steel, but I don't need an insane amount of cyanite anymore. A couple other things were changed in the update, such as the reactor producing so much more power, but to make up for it, the reprocessor also uses a lot more power. It's still a massive net positive, though. Also, I could switch over to doing this with blocks? Can the blocks run? No. I'd still need to turn them into ingots to run them in the reactor. But all this would save is time, and I guess a bit of power. But I've got plenty of that to spare. It's fast enough to keep up with the cyanite anyway. The only other major thing I noticed in the update is the addition of pure matter, which is just a significantly simpler means of getting a lot of a particular matter type. But what I've got works enough, and I still haven't even figured out how to fully automate it. I've played around with it a little bit, but no matter what I do, I can't get the ME system to recognize the matter that's been created. If I could somehow tell the import bus to import the matter, then it'd work. But because I can't put the matter in my inventory, I can't put it into the import bus, so I'm kind of stuck. I've also tried getting a separate set of matter network pipes to bring the matter back into the pattern provider. That doesn't work. I've tried putting it into the replication bridge. That doesn't work. The only way it ever automatically extracts matter from here is when it's connected to tanks. Or at least that's the only method I've found that works. Maybe there's more things I can do with the pure matter, but I'm not entirely sure how that'll change things. So I'm just going to leave this as an open question to the comments. How do I get the ME system to recognize when new matter is created? Anyway, moving on. I'm done with all of this nuclear reactor stuff, and the only significant thing left before I can start doing the ultimate technium is the fluidiser. And now that it's much cheaper, it really shouldn't be a problem. So I should just need to make one of each of these, bunch of casings to make the multi-block, hook it up to the ME system, and there's mob essence. And I'll probably build it up here. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to need a lot of steel casings, so that I can make some of these fluidizer casings. Then the control block, I need another comparator, and an elite Technium machine frame, but none of that is too hard. Then I need a solid injector, a power port, and an output port. And each of those require their own set of things. But again, it's nothing too hard, except for the ultimate fluid tanks. Those are a bit expensive. But even then, it's still not super expensive, just marginally more annoying. So now I just need to figure out how to put this together. And I'll try to just intuit it before I look it up. Can't be too dissimilar from the reactor. Just something like that. Yeah, it seems to have formed. So I'll just connect it to power. Oh, I can make mob essence out of any mob drop. But the best one seems to be the generalized predictions. And the end prediction blows them all out of the water. I've got plenty of it. Let's see. It's on. It has power, but it's not producing. Oh, I need to build it bigger. Okay. But everything else was more or less correct. Going bigger isn't much of a problem here. So now let's try this again. Okay, now it works. And... oh no, that's 108 buckets. Still a reasonable amount. Wait, it's not consuming the generalized prediction? Wait. Oh no, it is. Okay, it just wasn't updating in here for some reason. None of the graphics update unless I exit and look back in again. Weird, but okay. So then I'm just going to connect this in like this, send in the ender predictions, and extract the mob essence. And now I have that on demand. And I'll just tick that box to say that I've got it. Right. So now I can start getting into the meat of this, the ultimate Technium machine. I can probably build this up in this video. The machine itself doesn't look to be that bad, and I can probably make a couple ingots manually. But before I can do all of this, I need to get these entro-infused ingots. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, because the entro-infused can let me start upgrading quite a lot more of the ME system. Like, I can get these extended machine frames. That can make the crystal assembler, which has a whole bunch of different recipes in it. I can get advanced pattern providers. I can get extended drives. And it'll just overall make AE2 stuff marginally easier. So I am going to want quite a lot of entro crystals. First, I need this entro seed, which is a bunch of polonium and unstable matter. Unstable matter isn't much of a problem. I've got plenty of spare polonium. So I can make 4 entro seeds. Not sure how many I'm going to need, but probably a lot. So I need to use this entro seed on a fluix block, and that makes a budding, fully entroized fluix, which presumably grows the entro crystals. Okay. And unlike with the Certus quartz, I can't get this to be flawless, so it will slowly degrade, but it seems to be marginally more reliable, because it always drops the dust, or shards, when it's not fully grown, I guess. But shards can make the crystals just the same. So I'll use all 4 of these entro seeds. That should start getting me a bunch of entro crystals. Ooh, can I get a crystal growth accelerator? I don't think so. There is this crystal fixer? Yeah, but that only works on Certus quartz. No, I don't think there's any way to make this quicker. So I'm just going to be waiting a while to get enough entro. I guess I can make some more. That might make it go a little bit quicker. I wonder if there's anything else I can do while I wait. I can think of one thing. I'm probably going to need another dimensional ore extractor running replica. Probably not connected into the same storage here, but I'm going to need another one nonetheless. It's not super hard to make another ore extractor. And I've got plenty of spare reinforced machine casings and quartz glass. Then comes the question of where? And I think I'll build it back here, because I don't have to clear out too much more space for it, and I can share some of these reinforced machine casings, and more when I eventually end up placing more along this side. So there's that. I just need to connect it to power, and add a storage bus, and that should just give me access to a bunch of dimensional replica ore when I need it. I already have a bunch just sitting around spare, so I can't represent it too well, but it works. And then when I eventually need it to get the blocks, I've got it. And in that time, I don't think I got a single completed crystal. Nope, I got 1. Will it give me a crystal? Yes. And from there, I can make 1 dust for 1 ingot. Cool. It'll trigger the quest, but I still need to do that 5 more times. This might take a while. What happens if I just break a large cluster? I get a shard. So it has to be a full one to give me a crystal. Well, if I'm still waiting, I think there's one more thing that I can do. I can try getting some of this enderium. And for that, I'm going to need a bunch of platinum. And I'm pretty sure platinum is just inanite in the dimensional infuser? Yes. And I don't need that much of it to get a lot of enderium. Although from there, it's quite expensive turning it into gears. And I think that stack of enderium is only 4 ultimate technium worth of enderium. This is quite expensive. I don't think there's really anything else I can do to prepare for ultimate technium. Actually, there is one big question mark. And that's how I mass produce unstable matter. Assuming I just passively produce all of the matters I need, the best way I can think of for automating this is with a crafting card and getting the ME system to craft it for me. But that doesn't feel like a great solution to me. And even if I had a replicator on infinite mode, then as soon as it runs out of matter, it'll just stop. And I don't think I can produce the matter faster than I create the unstable matter. Unless I can make the pure matter quick enough. But just simply needing 8 items to get most of these, plus the time it would take in the quantum compressor, plus the time it would take in the disintegrator, I don't think that's something I can do. Let me try something. I haven't actually tested this. If I just put an unstable matter in there, it puts it on infinite mode, then I'm missing living, nether, and earth, so I'll just put stuff through the disintegrator to get that. Oh, and then as soon as it gets enough matter, it works. Okay, so I was wrong. Infinite mode is not what the crafting does, that's parallel mode. Okay, I guess that's what I'll do when I get around to passiving that. But for now, I'm focusing on the entro. And it's probably worth me getting fortune so that I can get more crystals out of this. I think I can do that. I'm not sure how this works exactly. Oh, wrong slot. There, fortune 5. How much better is this now? Ooh, yeah. Much better. I'm reliably getting 5 or so crystals every time I break one of these. Well, that's a much quicker way of getting all 6 entro-infused ingots. And I should have enough spare everything else to get that ultimate Technium machine. So, now I just build up the multi-block, and I can probably make 1 ingot. Doesn't seem to be a super difficult multi-block, but I am going to make myself some more space for it. And I guess I'm just continuing this tower upwards. And this is starting to get so high up that there's almost nothing left to imply that this is carved into the mountain anymore. And I'm wondering if I maintain the stone, or if I just embrace it and go wood. Or anything else for that matter. I think until I break out the other side, I'm gonna maintain stone. But once I do, it's not gonna make sense for this to stay stone. But it's not hard to just swap out the stone on the inside. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this. But this frame is starting to extend across. I think I've still got time until I break out the other side. I'm almost certainly gonna be digging this area larger when I start making the machines, but I do have time for now. And actually, I've made a mistake where I've got to bring this all higher. It's still not quite clipping. Yeah, it's starting to look weird. Maybe if I remove some of that excess flat dirt, so it's just the bit that's higher up. And that does look better, but it's hard to say that this is jutting out of the mountain anymore. I'll leave it for now. It's not the point of the video. I'll fix it some other time. Well, I have a room, and it's workable. So, now to build up the Technium machine. And nothing here seems too terribly difficult. I'm gonna need a bunch more reinforced machine casings, but not too many more. And some of the extra things like the reactor blocks and reactor glass, I've already got spare. The replica is pretty close to being spare. I just need to put a few more ores through here. Same with the uranium. And then I just need another simulation chamber, but I can make another one of them pretty easily too. So then I'll just put through the machine circuitry, which actually I already had enough spare. And that's everything. So now I'll just steadily build this up. It's pretty similar to every other Technium machine, and I've since figured out how to get the ghost blocks to show themselves. So that'll help me place some of this. So there, that should be it. And it's a bit taller than I thought. I might want to make this roof a bit higher up. If that's going to mean breaking free. Again, I'll leave that for some other time. I'm just going to connect the previous Technium machine in, so that I've got that going through. And then, what would be the easiest way to bring power across? I guess I could probably do it the same way that I connected the Elite machine in. Just another tunnel going right next to the item pipe. So now, Let's see if I can get this ultimate Technium ingot. I've got spare Inanite, I've got the Enderium gears, I've got the platinum rods, I've got the double crates of rotten flesh, and I've got some antimatter pellets, but the other three I don't have quite yet. I'll just put all of my spare replica ore through, and I should get a ton of blocks out of that. Probably over a stack of blocks, actually. And I've upgraded some of the water generation and the purifying water conversion, so this should be much quicker, but it's still going to take a while to go through about 9 stacks worth of items. Yeah. In the meantime, I can absolutely get all of those fluidiser casings, and I can put plenty of cyanite through the presses. Oh yeah, and then I need the mob essence and the spent nuclear waste. And I'm going to have to figure out the cabling here. I can string the cables through the walls, just the same as I usually do. Then I'll configure another PGP thing, and hopefully this just cooperates. I guess I may as well put in some of the other things that I've already got, like the Inanite and rotten flesh. But the main ones is the safe spent nuclear waste and the molten mob essence. And I'll just put some acceleration cards in because it was very slow. Right, a lot of the replica's gone through now, enough that I can start smelting it. And if I stick that in with the cyanite, it should start making me ultimate Technium. Right. I'm going to need a few more acceleration cards because I'm not putting the fluids in quick enough. That's not too hard to do. And I don't think it's too hard from here to start making more ultimate Technium. But making it manually isn't something I should be doing, so I guess next time I can work on the passive processing for this, because it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. I figured out the unstable matter, and I'll probably do that with the pure. Then I pass in antimatter, and it makes the pellets. That's not a big deal. Platinum is just a metal press and a dimensional infuser, so it might take a bit of space, but not a big deal. Enderium needs its own press and an arc furnace building off of the platinum, but still not a big deal. Cyanite is just another press. The fluidiser casings is probably the most annoying one, because that's going to need a lot of steel. But even then, it's just a bunch of charcoal and iron in a metallurgic infuser. So I'll just make something similar to what I've got here, and I should be fine. And then last, the replica. This might actually be the most annoying. Although, maybe I'd do it through simulation pearls, instead of the ore extractor. It just depends whether I'd rather remake this, or remake this. I'll think about it. But either way, Ultimate Technium is not that far from being automated. I've done most of the difficult passiving along the way, and if I didn't passive this, I'd have to basically remake all of this stuff up here, and it'd start taking way too much space. But as it stands, the few extra things I'm going to need aren't that big of a deal. I'm probably going to need more space than this, but maybe not even as much space as the Elite Technium needed. I don't know. I'll come up with a design on my own, but either way, that is something for next time. And maybe afterwards I can do some of the research, because I get a lot of good stuff out of this. Ultimate miners, reinforced reactors, infinity cells, a time in a bottle, with the data model. Yeah, ultimate research unlocks a lot of nice things. But that's all something for next time. For now, I'm pretty happy with this progress. I've done basically everything before passiving Ultimate Technium. Built up the machine, connected it to the basics, got the fluidiser online, started getting entro crystals, and we managed to make some Ultimate Technium ingots. So I think that is plenty of progress for one video, and I don't really have anything else to add. There's a lot to do next time, there's a lot for me to figure out, but I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'm going to call the video here. Bye.